Hey, everybody. Welcome. It's Tuesday night. It's time to grandstand. I'm Mother Theresa. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Hey, everybody. It's Mother Theresa here. How is everyone doing on this Tuesday night? I hope that you have had a great week since the last time we were together. Hello there, honey. Can you hear me, honey? Yes, I hope everyone can hear me. Listen, I hope you've had a great week since the last time we were together. And I hope that you have had a grand week. And if you did not, guess what? Start your week over tomorrow, or actually start it over right now. Okay. So listen, we're going to get started. Let me pull up everything that I need for tonight. And I think I'm coming in loud and clear on tonight. My apologies for last week. I had a little bit of a technical difficulty, but thank you, May. We were able to get it together and we were able to fix it. But we are good on tonight and we've got everything going. It looks like Mama is here. Hello there, Mama. I'm glad that you're here on tonight. Listen, I'm going to ask you a couple of things. I need you all to make sure that after you have watched this video, share it on your page. But while we are interacting on tonight, give me some thumbs up, put some emojis, put some comments in the chat box. Let me know that you are here because I want to make sure that I am able to hey there, daughter. Thank you, daughter. You know exactly what to do. I want to make sure that I'm acknowledging you all that are here. I don't want to miss anybody, okay? I don't want to miss anybody. But let's just jump right into it on this week. Okay, so I wanted to talk about you and I and the things that we have in common. And the things that we have in common, everybody, is that we all have a story. And we have a story to tell. And now, if you would just stay with me. Hello there, Miracle. Hello there, Sister Sherry. If you would just stay with me until the end, I am going somewhere with this topic. And I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised with some of the information that I will share. So, everybody has a story. And I want you all to understand that there is power. Y'all hear me say power in your stories. Now, sometimes we don't want to tell our story because we may be still going through some things. We may be still involved in some things. Well, first of all, if you're still living, your story is still being told. Hello there, Shekinah. Your story is still being written. And it's still being developed. But I need you all to understand this, that you don't have to be perfect to be powerful. Your story, whether it's messy, miraculous, unfinished, it can help other people. And that's what I want you all to understand is that I believe that every experience that God allows us to have, He allows us to have these experiences, not just for ourselves, but of course they're for us first, but they're not just for ourselves. It is for somebody else. And let me just tell you, it could be a whole lot of somebody else's that is just waiting to hear your story. Have you ever said to yourself, I'll share my story when I've got it all figured out? Okay? I'll share my story when I have something to tell. I'll share my story when I've made it to the other side. Well, let me just tell you, part of your story is sharing the process, the journey of how you made it from here, of how you made it to there. Because it's that stuff that's in the middle, that in the meantime stuff, that's part of the story. That's a main part of the story. Because let me just tell you, we have a lot of people who can share their lives with us, and all we see is the glitz and the glamour. We see a person who has arrived, a person who has made it, a person who is living in their success. But we don't see them when they were struggling. We don't see them when they were like me, who grew up in the projects. We don't see that part, or we fail to realize that that is the reason why they have the testimony that they have, is because they've lived that story. They've lived through some things. And now that they've come to the other side, or come out on the other side, they can share their story, okay? They can share their story. And so, in a lot of times you're saying, I'll wait until my, y'all excuse me, I'll wait until my story is complete. Well, when your story is complete, I think we go to be back with our Father. Okay? And when you're with your Father, you can't tell your story. So I want y'all to understand is that I need you all to understand that you've got to tell your story. But this is what I also want you all to understand, that I don't want you to feel like you're forced. It's got to be a testimony that you're willing to share, that you feel comfortable in sharing, that you feel compelled to share. There have been so many times where I have been able to witness to individuals, and I have just shared a little bit of my story. And when they walk away, or before they walk away from me, they will tell me either Mother Theresa or Sister Theresa or Miss Caldwell, that is exactly what I needed to hear. How did you even know to share that information with me? How did you know what I needed? How did you know I was going through that? But let me just tell you, when you're wise and when you are led by the Spirit, God will give you exactly what you need to share. Miracle, he will give you exactly what you need to share. He will give you exactly, he'll put you in the presence of the people who actually need to hear what you need to tell them. So we're going to talk a little bit again about how to unpack your story, how to share it without feeling shame, and what happens when your truth, okay, because your story is your truth. My mother-in-law used to say, that's not my story to tell, but your story is your truth. So when your truth meets somebody else's need for hope, then you've accomplished what you needed to do, because there is hope for somebody that comes from the words of our story. Okay, but you got to be willing to share it. And you know, a lot of times, and I get it. I mean, we're talking about our stories. We're talking about showing yourself vulnerable, putting yourself out there. And sometimes the first time that you share your truth, you know, whether it be publicly or with it being just an individual, you wrestle, or you have this tug of war in your mind about, should I tell this or should I not? Should I share this part of my story or should I keep it hidden? And that's going to be all up to you. What I want you all to walk away with tonight is being comfortable in sharing some of your story, because I believe that everybody has a story to tell, and I just believe that it is time for us to share our stories. But I think you probably is wondering, why does your story matter? Why does it matter that I share with you that I'm not now, but I was a teenage mom, that me and my husband, we were teenage parents. Why is that important for you to know that we were teen parents? Because then I can tell you how then God helped to sustain us, how God took care of my daughter while I was carrying her without any prenatal care. That is important for you to know, for a certain individual to know, because we have young ladies and young mothers out here who are going through being a teen mom or a single mom, and they need to know that, hey, you can make it. You may have a lot of things that come on you. You may have a lot of things that is coming against you all at one time. And I think this is a good time to pause and say, if you have not seen the movie Straw, please watch it and have conversations about it. Okay? And that's all that I'm going to say about that for right now. But I want you to understand that your story, first of all, you're not too late to tell it. You're not too old, and you're not too broken to make an impact on somebody else's life. You don't have to be famous to tell your story. I myself was also a teen mom. Yes, Miracle. Yes, absolutely. Probably a lot of people that will be watching this, if they're not on now, that will be watching this later. And I want you all to share with me some information about, how did you make it as a teen mom? You know, my mom let me know, hey, that's your child. You're responsible. And I thank God for that, because I did not leave my child on my mom. I took care of her. Yes, I had a lot of help, lots and lots of help. And so thank God for my husband, thank God for his family, but I thank God for the people that were in my village to help me with Net. But you're not too young, too old, too late to tell your story, okay? You don't have to be famous to share your story. And you don't have to be famous for your story to be powerful. Okay, see, a lot of times we get it twisted and we think only the rich and famous have powerful stories. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to be famous for your story to be powerful. Absolutely, Net. Absolutely. We're going to talk about Net in just a little bit. Your story is healing other people. Sometimes your story is actually somebody else's survival guide. Yeah, I said that right. Sometimes the things that you have actually went through and have endured is actually the survival guide that somebody else needs. You can tell them how to get from point A to point B. You can tell them how to do those things, because guess what? You've lived it. Not only have you lived it, but you're still living it. Okay? Now, let me just tell you, this is one of the things that I know for sure, is that the enemy wants to keep us silent. He wants us to keep these stories inside of here, but God wants us to speak it. God wants us to share. And I will say this again, you've got to be comfortable in what you share. So, and that's left up to you. That's, whatever you feel comfortable in sharing, that's between you and God, okay? But I also want to say that our stories, some of our stories is not for the big platforms. Some of our stories are not meant for the stage. But then there are others of us who our stories are definitely meant for the platforms. It's meant for the platforms, it's meant for the pulpits, it's meant for the stages, it's meant to be on a tour. It's meant for us to share these stories across the world, across the nation. And this is an excellent platform for us to be able to do it. Social media has brought the world at our fingertips. And so there is many, many opportunities for us to be able to share the things that have happened to us with a large number of people, okay? Sometimes our stories are just for our children. Sometimes they're just for our circle of influence. And sometimes our stories is just for our healing. It's just for us. Sometimes we have to go back and relive, and not relive. I don't mean that to say that. Sometimes we have to go back and to deal with the things that have happened in our past in order for us to heal, in order for us to be able to move forward. I talked a lot about I do talk a lot about being able to forgive, and forgiveness is for you. It's not for the other person, because what you're doing is you are releasing yourself from the feelings that you have about a situation and about an individual. But that is for you. So don't ever think that because you are holding on to some unforgiveness, that you are hurting another individual. You are not. You are actually hurting yourself. So let go of that unforgiveness, free yourself, and let go and let God. And then let me just tell you, it takes a burden off of your shoulder. Sometimes it's like that heavy burden that you've been carrying that you didn't even realize that you've been carrying it. But when you forgive somebody, it's like it's lifted. So release yourself, get rid of that, let it go, and move forward. So the other thing that I would like to say, a lot of times we say, but I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm fearful. I don't want to tell anybody. I don't want to stand up and talk in front of anybody. Listen, a lot of times, a lot of times what is happening is the reason why we're fearful is because we think in the back of our minds is that the people are going to judge us for our story. How will the people think of, what will the people think of me? Net said freedom. Absolutely right. Forgiveness is freedom. We're fear of judgment. We're fearful that people are going to talk about us. If they knew that I was a teenage mom, if they knew that I was raised in the projects, if they knew that I did all of these different things that I can share with you, that some of the things that may be shameful, or people may say that they're shameful, society may say that they're shameful, will they talk about me? Will they think less of me? Will they think less of my family? But I'm going to tell you, growing up in the projects is one of the, first of all, I met my husband in the projects. My good thing, my husband, my honey. Okay. So I thank God for being in Oak Hill Plaza, because not only did I meet my husband in Oak Hill Plaza, some of the friends that I made growing up are friendships that I cherish. And even though I may not be in contact with those individuals now, but they were great friends when I was growing up. But also there are a lot of different things that I learned about who I am as an individual. I learned that I wanted to be a social worker because I lived in the projects, okay? I learned that I wanted to listen to people and try to figure out ways that I can help or make their situations better. I met Miss we called her Miss Birdie Bell Wade, the first social worker that I knew. I didn't know she was a social worker. I just knew that she was always around, always asking a lot of questions, always inquisitive, but I liked her spirit. Now, yeah, she kind of maybe came off a little bit, whatever, but I loved her. And I didn't know that she was a social worker. So the first social worker that I met, not that she was coming to see me, but she was in the community. She was at Miss Mabel's house, our neighbor, which may have been a relative of hers. Mama, you can help clarify that. But sometimes we're fearful, or we think, what will people think about us if they knew my story? We're fear of exposing our shame, our guilt. And another thing is it opens up old wounds that we may not be ready to deal with. Also, rejection. Sometimes we can think, well, first of all, what if they don't believe me? What if they don't believe that? That was one of the things that I can remember Deacon Charles Kennedy, when I told him who some of my family members were, he was like, no, it's not. No, it's not. And then when I told him that I was raised in Oak Hill Plaza, he did not believe me. And I was like, why? And let me just tell you the reason why he said that is because, see, he saw me in a different light than what maybe my previous or my past, okay? So he saw me in a different light. So sometimes people may not necessarily believe your story, but that's okay because it's your truth. then sometimes we are fearful that if we start telling our story, what if we mess it up? What if I don't tell my story right? Well, guess what? It's your story. So you can't mess up your story as long as you're being truthful, you're telling the truth. Now, it's something different if you're lying. Okay, so somebody's gonna probably catch you in that. If I were to say something contrary to what my truth is, then yeah, I would have to worry a little bit about that, worry a lot about that. And let me just tell you, you don't have to tell it all again, but you do need to tell the truth. Again, like I said, that's your truth. And you can tell it whether you're healed, if you're completely healed of that situation, or if you're still hurting from that situation. You can tell it. You can tell it in whatever situation that you may be currently in. Just be honest about where you are and the circumstances that you're in. And it's not your shame. I said earlier, because sometimes we may think it's shameful. It's things that we may feel guilty about. No, it's not shame. It's your strength. And I really believe, and I said this before, that I believe that every situation that we have endured in our lifetime, it is because that was preparing us for where we're going, the next phase. And sometimes we have to go into, not sometimes, if it happens, because I believe everything happens for a reason. So I believe that the things that happen in our lives, we believe that our lives are destined by God, that we walk according to the path that He has given us. So in essence, every single thing that has happened, whether you like it or not, that's the path that God has chosen for you. So I just need you to be understanding and just know that sometimes the path may not look, it may not look good, it may not feel good, it may be a little bit rough. The path may be a little bit, like they say, going down the beaten path or whatever. It may be crooked, it may be, rocky or whatever, but that's your path. That's the path that God has given you. So I'm looking at the time, you all, it's almost time to wrap up. Another thing, tell your story with purpose and not pity. And when I say don't tell it with pity, you're not telling your story so people can have pity on you, or you can feel pity for yourself. We've said something about a pity party and whatever. No, this is not a time for a pity party. This is time for you to share your truth, but also share your truth in a way that you are speaking triumph. Okay? Because I do believe that no matter what stage that you are in your story, there has got to have been some wins, some victories in your life. Okay? So when you're sharing your story, we don't want it to be a sad, oh, poor, pitiful me story. No, tell your story. Don't just share the scars, the wounds. Don't just share those things. Like I said, share those victories. And you can share it in a way that you're not reliving the trauma. And like I said, you're sharing not just the losses, you're sharing the lessons that came from, or the lessons that you've learned. But always, as you're sharing your story and as you are formulating your story, what I want you to do is make sure that you're putting it together in a way that the person that you're sharing it with, you're going to show them a victory somewhere. There has to be a victory somewhere. Tell it like a teacher, not like a victim, okay? Tell it like a victor and not a victim, okay? And we want to make sure that as you are telling your story, we want you to frame it, okay? What happened? So it needs to be relatable. Reveal, something that's revealing. So what did you learn? Y'all, I see a car that's going very slowly by my house. That always gets my attention. All right, that's part of my story. It should show some redemption. How can this story help somebody else? And then when your story heals other people, when your story is healing other people, make sure that you're giving them something that I would say for me, this would be ministry because and I believe that storytelling really is a ministry. So when you're telling your story and it heals other people, hopefully it does help to heal other people, or it gives them a sense of, if you've made it through this, because like, remember I said, you need to work in some victories, share some victories, even if it's a small one, share that victory with them, because people are looking for real stories. They're not look. It don't have to be polished. It don't have to be all cute or whatever with the bow on top of it. It just needs to be real. So I'm gonna switch over a little bit right now. For those of you all that are here that have seen all of the Facebook posts about Seasoned for Purpose, and that's the book, the story we're going to talk about tonight. But I want you to stay tuned because there are some other stories that are coming forward. And as I want to, as a mom, I'm very proud of my daughter, Net. I'm very proud that she took up first step in being able to share her story. And Seasoned for Purpose is my daughter's story. And I think she has been sharing it. She has been promoting her book. She has been sharing it with on social media. Thank you. I'm going to say thank you to everyone who has purchased a copy of her book and have encouraged her and have sent her messages saying, you know, how it's relatable. And not only is it relatable, but she told it in such a way that you can feel the story. You can feel it. You can feel what she was going through, the things that she's not just going through or went through, but is still going through. Okay. So what I want you all to know is that as I'm concluding and wrapping up tonight, your story is not too small. It's not too messy. Again, you're not too late, and it's not too much. Some of you all will write books. Some of you all have written books. Some of you all have books within you that you're just wondering, where do I start? Where do I start? How do I even get to the point to share just a little bit of my story? Some of you all will not write a book, okay? Some of you all will get a journal and you will journal a little bit and you're going to begin to tell your story, all right? So what I want you to do this week is I want you to begin sharing in the way that makes you feel comfortable. I want you to try to journal a little bit this week. Some of you all may want to use your phone. You don't want to write down anything. You don't want to do that. But you may want to use your phone, and you may just want to start recording an audio version of your story. Some of you all may want to call a family member, and you may want to say, Mimo, or mama, or sister, brother, aunt, whoever, cousin. I just want to share with you all just a little bit of my story, okay? Some of you all might want to write a letter to your younger self, and you might want to just share some of the things that maybe you as your younger self maybe went through. And again, what I want you to do, I want you to do this. I really, really do, because I want you all to begin to feel the freedom and the liberty that you will receive as you begin to share. Okay. And again, I'm not trying to force you to do anything. I'm just trying to share with you that I know without a shadow of a doubt that it will make you feel better. Okay. And not only is it going to make you feel better, but if God leads you to somebody to share something with them, first of all, you're going to pray. I'm going to pray that ask God that if you're afraid to speak up, that he gives you holy boldness. That I'm going to ask God to release your voice. I'm going to ask God, God, give them courage. God, release their voice. Give them a testimony that that they will be able to share with somebody on this week. And so, God, I proclaim this, and I ask that you would do these things in your son Jesus' name. And as you are doing this, I'm going to pray and also ask that he will give you and direct you of what to say, how to say, when to say. And if he doesn't release you this week to do that, that's okay. That is just fine. But what I want to share with you all is that I want you all to stay tuned for something that that is in the works that God has given me. I hadn't even had a chance to share it with my husband yet. But God woke me up and he had given me a vision about storytelling. That's what I'm going to tell you all about right now. It's about storytelling, about sharing this grandstanding on the road, grandstanding mobile, grandstanding a conference, grandstanding some other avenue than just this right here, okay? So stay tuned for that, because for some of you all that are here on tonight, I may be calling you and say, hey, listen, this is what's on my heart. This is where God is leading me to do. Do you want to stand with me? Do you want to share your story with me? Because let me just tell you, there are a lot of stories out here, and people can be healed by the things that you have actually lived through. And not only did you live through it, but some of you all have blossomed or bloomed. You're blooming and you have triumphed over those things. And so why not tell it? Why not share your story? Because like I said, he did not give us these experiences for us to keep them bottled inside, okay? My mom shared something. I've shared this with you all before. I see a lot of chatting in the chat. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Oh, wow. Okay, okay. All right, yes. Okay, keep talking, keep chatting. Okay. My mom asked me, or she told me when I was at home, and I have shared this with you all before. She said, Thresa, how do you talk so much? Why do you talk so much? How do you have all of those things to say? How do you have that much to say? And you seem like you never get tired. You can just go on and on and on. And I just laughed. I mean, that was so funny for me to hear that. And I know I'm not telling it the way that Mama did. I am not. But I told my husband, I said, honey, did you just hear what Mama said? And she was so serious. But let me tell y'all, see, there is a story even behind that. And so, Mama, I'm going to have to get you to come on because, see, you got a story to tell too. But there is a story even behind what I just shared with you. Because the story that Mom shared with me is that I would talk to anybody when the people would come to the house, insurance guys that came, back in the day, the insurance, if you had life insurance, different types of things, they would come to your house and you would pay them and whatever. Well, I would talk to the person, that guy. I would talk to anybody. I don't know what I was talking about, but I was a talker. I'm still a talker. So I think the guy, Mama was shushing me. She was trying to tell me, stop talking so much. Stop talking to these people. Stop talking to everybody that you see. And basically, in so many words, he just told her, he said, don't shush her. Don't tell her to be quiet because you never know what she may become. And so, and I'm thankful that Mama shared with me that story, because let me just tell you, I am a talker. I don't apologize for it, but I can talk just like I'm rambling right now, and I'm about to wrap it up. My husband would definitely agree that I am a talker. But let me just tell you, when God gives you stories, when God gives you so much, when he puts that in you, guess what? You got to share it. So I'm going to leave that with you all tonight. So your call to action this week is to journal, to get on your devices, record yourself, call somebody, share something with them if you can. Now, if you can't do it, that's okay. I'm going to stay on you and we're going to talk about it a little bit later. All right, everybody. I hope you all have enjoyed grandstanding on tonight. I will actually have this uploaded for those that want to get a little bit of more information about what I'm doing. All I'm going to tell you is stay tuned. Join me on next week because I'm going to talk about it again on next week. We're going to talk about it again until it comes into fruition. So what I'm going to ask you also to do is to pray with me. Pray with me, pray for me, that whatever this thing is that God has placed in my heart, that I will be able to, with the help and his direction, that we will be able to bring it to fruition. All right, everybody. Listen, y'all have a great week, and I will see you all on the next time. It's time to go out of here with, of course, TJ Culpepper. In the meantime, we'll see y'all on next Sunday. And as my sister Cynthia says, good night, grandstanders. We'll see you the next time. This is good music, isn't it, y'all? All right. Good night, everybody. We'll see you all on next Tuesday. Don't forget your assignment. Bye-bye.